If you were born outside the United States but became a citizen the right way, this video is for you. Because what I'm about to tell you could change how safe you feel about your citizenship forever. Millions of naturalized Americans believe that once you take the oath, once you become a citizen, it can never be taken away. But in 2026, that belief is being tested like never before. Right now, the U.S. government is quietly reopening old citizenship files, some from 10, 15, even 20 years ago, looking for reasons to strip people of the citizenship they already earned. And here's the scary part. Even people who did everything honestly are asking the same question tonight. Could they come for me next? Stay with me until the end of this video because I'm going to explain exactly what's happening, who is actually at risk, who is protected by the law, and what you should do right now to protect yourself and your family. Before we continue, I want to say something directly to you. This channel exists for people like you. Immigrants, naturalized citizens, families who worked hard, followed the rules, and just want clear, honest information without fear-mongering or political games. If you've ever felt confused, scared, or ignored when it comes to immigration news, this space is yours. I break things down simply, honestly, and with respect because your future matters. I'm consistently uploading videos on topics like denaturalization, citizenship rights, green cards, travel bans, USCIS changes, and what all of this really means for real people, not politicians. So, if you want updates you can trust, explanations you can actually understand, and content made specifically for you, please subscribe right now. New videos on this exact topic and the changes coming next are being uploaded here. So, subscribing makes sure you don't miss something that could affect your life. You earned your place here. This channel is here for you. Subscribe, and let's stay informed together. So, first of all, let us understand something very basic. What does it mean to be a naturalized citizen? A naturalized citizen is someone who was not born in the United States, but came here from another country and went through the legal process to officially become an American citizen. This process is not easy. It takes many years. You need to already have a green card. You need to live in the U.S. legally for at least 5 years. You need to pass an English language test. You need to pass a civics test where they ask you questions about American history and government. You go through background checks. You have an in-person interview with an immigration officer. And at the end, you attend a ceremony where you raise your right hand and swear an oath to the United States. This is a big deal. For most people, this is the proudest moment of their life. They have worked hard, been patient, followed all the rules, and finally, they are an American citizen. They believe that now they are safe. They believe that now nobody can take this away from them. But in 2026, that feeling of security is being shaken. And today we are going to explain why. Right now, there are about 26 million naturalized citizens living in the United States. These are people from all over the world, from Mexico, India, the Philippines, Vietnam, China, Nigeria, Pakistan, and dozens of other countries. These are doctors, engineers, teachers, business owners, soldiers, parents, and grandparents. These are people who love this country and have contributed to it every single day. And yet, in early 2026, the Trump administration announced something that has created a wave of fear among these 26 million people. The administration announced that it is dramatically expanding its effort to take away citizenship from foreign-born Americans. This is called denaturalization, and the scale of what is being proposed is unlike anything America has seen before. Let us talk about what denaturalization actually means. Denaturalization is when the U.S. government goes to court and tries to take away someone's citizenship. This is not something new. It has existed in American law for a long time. In the past, it was used in very extreme cases. For example, if someone was discovered to be a Nazi war criminal who lied during their application, or if someone was found to have hidden a very serious violent crime when they applied for citizenship. These were rare cases. Between 1990 and 2017, on average, only about 11 denaturalization cases were opened per year. Even during Trump's first term in office, which was from 2017 to 2021, the administration filed a total of 102 denaturalization cases across all 4 years. That is roughly 25 cases per year. These numbers give you a sense of how rare and serious this tool was considered to be. But now in 2026, the Trump administration has issued new guidance that is absolutely shocking to immigration experts, lawyers, and advocates. According to this new guidance, USCIS, which stands for U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, the government agency that handles all immigration paperwork, has been directed to send 100 to 200 denaturalization cases per month to the Justice Department. Let that sink in. 100 to 200 cases every single month. That means potentially up to 2,400 cases per year. Compare that to the 11 cases per year in the 1990s and 2000s, or the 102 total cases across Trump's entire first term. This is a massive, unprecedented increase. This is something America has truly never seen before in its modern history. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but if they are only going after people who cheated or lied, why should honest, law-abiding citizens be worried? That is a fair question, and we are going to answer it very carefully. The official statement from USCIS says that they are targeting people who obtained citizenship through fraud or misrepresentation. A USCIS spokesperson said that the agency has a zero-tolerance policy towards fraud in the naturalization process. On paper, that sounds reasonable. Nobody wants people who lied their way into citizenship to keep that citizenship. That makes sense. But the problem, and this is where many experts and lawyers are raising alarms, is in the details of how this is being carried out. The biggest concern is the quota system. When a government agency is told to produce 100 to 200 cases every single month, there is an enormous pressure to meet that number. Think about it like this. If your boss tells you that you must bring in a certain number of cases or your department will face consequences, you are going to look harder and harder for cases even if the evidence is not very strong. Immigration experts are warning that when you set a quota like this, the risk is that you start pursuing people over minor issues, small mistakes, or technical errors on old forms, things that would never have been considered serious enough to take someone's citizenship away before. Former USCIS official Sarah Pierce said it best when she told the New York Times that requiring monthly quotas that are 10 times higher than recent annual totals turns a serious and rare tool into a blunt instrument and creates unnecessary fear for millions of naturalized Americans. Let us also talk about what has been happening on the ground across the country. USCIS has been reassigning staff members and sending experts to offices in different states specifically to review old naturalization files. These are people whose citizenship was approved years ago, maybe even decades ago, and now government officials are going back through their files looking for reasons to challenge their citizenship. Imagine that. You became a citizen 15 years ago. You have built your life in America. You have raised your children here. You have paid your taxes, voted in elections, maybe even served in the military, and now someone in a government office somewhere is sitting with your old application file looking for a reason to take all of that away from you. The Trump administration's push to expand denaturalization is part of a much larger immigration crackdown that has been going on since the beginning of the second Trump term. The administration has been sending ICE officers into cities across the country for deportation missions. They have been purchasing large warehouses to hold immigration detainees. They have been revoking visas, including visas of students and people who participated in protests. They have been trying to remove green card holders. They have been canceling naturalization ceremonies for people from certain countries. In December 2025, the administration canceled naturalization ceremonies for immigrants from 19 countries that were labeled as high risk. These were people who had completed the entire process, years of waiting, interviews, background checks, and some of them were told on the very same day of their ceremony that it was canceled. Can you imagine waiting for years, getting dressed up, inviting your family, and then receiving a phone call hours before the ceremony saying it will not happen? This is the reality that many immigrants are living right now. Speaking of changes to the citizenship process itself, the Trump administration also made the naturalization test harder at the start of 2026. The new civics exam now includes 20 oral questions, which is double the previous number, and applicants must answer 12 of them correctly in order to pass. The exam no longer includes geography questions, but it now requires applicants to be able to name all three branches of the American government. These changes add another layer of difficulty for people trying to become citizens legally and correctly. There have also been changes to green card rules that affect those who want to eventually become citizens. Normally, marrying a U.S. citizen would put you on a faster path to getting a green card, but USCIS has announced that it will now apply much greater scrutiny to these marriage-based applications. It is no longer enough to just show that you are legally married. The government will now focus heavily on whether you actually live together with your spouse, looking for proof of a real shared life, not just a piece of paper. This is clearly aimed at reducing what the government calls marriage fraud. But it also means that genuine married couples will face more pressure to prove their relationship is authentic. There is also a travel ban expansion that went into effect on January 1st, 2026. President Trump signed an executive order adding 7 new countries to the travel ban list: Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, South Sudan, Syria, Laos, and Sierra Leone. Citizens of these countries are fully blocked from entering the United States. This is on top of the existing travel bans that were already in place, and there is more. Border screening is being expanded as well. Under a new rule that took effect at the end of December 2025, U.S. Customs and Border Protection can now collect facial recognition data from all non-citizens entering and leaving the country, including green card holders at airports, land crossings, and seaports. Now, let us take a step back and ask, can the government actually take your citizenship away? And if they try, what rights do you have? This is very important, and we want to be very clear here. Yes, the government can legally pursue denaturalization, but it is not easy and it is not automatic. Here is how the process works. First, the government has to open a case against you. This involves a U.S. attorney filing a civil or criminal case in federal court. The case then goes in front of a federal judge, not just a government official, but an actual judge in a real courtroom. The government bears the burden of proof. That means it is the government's job to prove that you did something wrong. You are not required to prove that you are innocent. The standard for denaturalization is very high. The Supreme Court has ruled multiple times that citizenship is too precious and fundamental to democracy for the government to take it away easily. The court has said that the government must prove not only that you made a false statement on your application, but also that this false statement was material, meaning it actually affected whether you were eligible for citizenship. A small mistake, a minor error, something that did not change your eligibility. Courts have consistently said that is not enough to strip someone of their citizenship. So, what does this mean for an average, honest, naturalized citizen? For the vast majority of the 26 million naturalized Americans who went through the process correctly and honestly, experts say the risk of actually losing citizenship remains low. Court oversight, high evidentiary standards, and the enormous resources required to bring each individual case all act as barriers against mass denaturalization. Even with 100 to 200 case referrals per month, many of those referrals may not result in actual court cases. And even those that do go to court may not succeed if the evidence is not strong enough. Aaron Reichlin-Melnick, an immigration fellow at the American Immigration Council, pointed out that each case must be proved in front of a federal judge, and the Department of Justice is already stretched extremely thin in terms of resources and staffing. So the quota may be more of a political statement than a realistic enforcement goal. That said, even if the actual legal risk is lower than the headlines suggest, the emotional and psychological impact on immigrant communities is very real. Immigration lawyers across the country are reporting that their phones have been ringing nonstop with calls from naturalized citizens who are worried and scared. People who became citizens 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago are lying awake at night wondering if someone is looking at their file. Senior staff attorney Veronica Garcia at the Immigrant Legal Resource Center said that there is definitely fear in the community that people will get their citizenship stripped from them. This fear, even when not legally justified, affects people's mental health, their children, their sense of belonging, and their willingness to speak up, vote, or participate in civic life. And many experts argue that creating this climate of fear is itself part of the goal. There is also a much bigger picture concern here that legal scholars and civil rights advocates are talking about loudly. When the government starts treating naturalized citizens differently from those born in the United States, it creates a two-tier system of citizenship. Born citizens never have to worry about the government reviewing their files and trying to take away their rights. But naturalized citizens, even those who did everything perfectly, now have to live with the knowledge that their citizenship could theoretically be challenged. The Supreme Court itself has said more than a century ago that naturalized citizens are on the same legal footing as those born in the country. The idea that a naturalized citizen is somehow a lesser or more provisional kind of citizen, always subject to review, always at risk of losing what was earned, runs deeply against the founding principles of America as a nation of immigrants. Some officials have gone even further in their statements, raising concerns that this tool could be used not just against people who committed fraud, but against people whose political views or speech the government dislikes. Trump himself in various statements has suggested he would be open to denaturalizing people for things like undermining domestic tranquility, a very vague and subjective standard. He has specifically mentioned public figures like Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and a New York City mayoral candidate as potential targets. Legal experts say that using denaturalization as a political weapon against people for their speech or political views would be completely unconstitutional. The Supreme Court has been very clear that citizenship cannot be stripped as punishment for expression or political activity. So what should you do if you are a naturalized citizen and you are worried? First, take a breath. If you went through the process honestly, answered all the questions truthfully, and did not hide any important information, you are in a strong position. The legal protections in place are real and meaningful. Courts have consistently protected naturalized citizens' rights. Second, gather your documents. Make sure you have safe copies of your naturalization certificate, your passport, and any immigration documents from your process. If you ever need to defend yourself, having organized records is essential. Third, if you are worried about something specific, like a mistake you may have made on an old form years ago, consult with an experienced immigration attorney. Do not panic and do not make assumptions. An attorney can look at your specific situation and give you real guidance. Fourth, remember that receiving a notice or letter from USCIS is not the same as losing your citizenship. There is a legal process that the government must follow, and you have rights every step of the way. If you receive any communication from USCIS or the Justice Department about your citizenship, contact an immigration lawyer immediately. Fifth, stay informed. Immigration policies are changing rapidly right now. Following trusted news sources, legal organizations, and immigration advocacy groups will help you understand how new developments might affect you. Organizations like the American Immigration Council, the Immigrant Legal Resource Center, and many local legal aid nonprofits are actively working to track these changes and support people who need help. As we wrap up today's video, here is the big picture that we want you to take away. The Trump administration's expansion of denaturalization efforts in 2026 is unlike anything America has seen in modern history. The scale of the proposed monthly quotas is staggering compared to historical norms. The changes to the citizenship test, the travel bans, the marriage green card scrutiny, the facial recognition data collection, the cancellation of naturalization ceremonies, all of these things together paint a picture of an administration that is trying to make it much harder to become an American citizen and is now also trying to undo citizenship that was already granted. The legal barriers are real, and courts will continue to play a critical role in protecting people's rights. But the fear and uncertainty that all of this is creating in immigrant communities is real too. If you are a naturalized citizen, remember this. You earned your citizenship. You went through the process. You took the oath. America is your home. Know your rights. Stay informed. Connect with legal resources if you need them. And do not let fear paralyze you. The courts are still standing, the law still protects you, and millions of people, born citizens and naturalized citizens alike, stand with you. If you found this video helpful, please like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel. We are going to continue bringing you clear, honest, and easy to understand information about the most important topics affecting immigrant communities right now. Leave your questions in the comments below. We read every single one. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other. We will see you in the next